Hello and welcome to the 7th issue of Fractalforums.com news. The first topic for today is the program JWildfire, a flame fractal renderer in Java by user Tagor, has been extended. Now it is possible to use an evolutionary approach to create new flames, and also you can use sound waveforms as parameter input.
Version 0.67 of JWildfire is a flame fractal renderer written in Java. Flame fractals are a non-linear extension to iterated function systems. They use a very large range of possible transformations to make up an image. That is why it makes sense to use an evolutionary approach, otherwise it would be hard to handle all the possibilities. Here we see the evolutionary formula evolvement in action. The user chooses the image which he likes best. He can adjust to what degree the parameters are changed in the direction of the preferred image. By using this approach, it is more easy to find interesting formulas. The other new feature is that now sound waves can be taken as parameter inputs.
A few days ago, user Tryptophan released 4 videos using this software. In addition, he used other software called Touch Designer, which is a GPU-optimized music visualization tool. He spiced it up with hand-converted Fragmentarium scripts for incorporating 3D fractals into his timeline. But most importantly, he used lots of patience, commitment, talent and genius, producing these tremendous videos. What are you doing here? Just because I'm reporting on artwork does not mean you can hijack my show. You've got your own show. Get lost. And yes, indeed, I'm interested in art as well. Just the other day I got inspired by an image by user AlexH. In this image he used a cloud background which was digitally created as well. This makes this image 100% fractal. This is my reason to report on the influence of fractals in cinematics in general. Perhaps you know the jungle images from the 3D movie Avatar. They have been created purely on computers. So, let's take a look at the available rendering software and its possibilities.
Here we see the works of Richard Fraser, a professional CG artist specialized in realistic landscape rendering. This whole clip is fully computer animated. Especially the clouds and the interaction with the light look astonishingly real. These are also pictures by Richard Fraser, showing the current state of art. Richard Fraser uses a program called Terragen2. This is a video the software company uses to promote its product Terragen2. Terragen is under development since 1997 and the version 1 of Terragen is available for just €100. The Terragen2 program is used by professional film production companies, but you can find a free demo version on their page. The program, which has been used by user LXH, is called Cloudwright. It is specially forged for rendering realistic sky views. The software is available for just €29. The company also uses their algorithms for real-time environments, like in computer games. Another program for realistic landscapes rendering is Vue by the software company Eon. It has been used for many blockbusters like Avatar, and it provides a large set of tools to create realistic renderings. All these programs heavily rely on fractals and the applied knowledge of chaos theory. Even though the clouds do not look like the mumbleboard set, they are still fractals, just like the real clouds and the rest of the universe.
This is incredible. Links are provided in the description of this video. What are you doing here? I thought we agreed this is my show.
Yes, but the people want to understand how this works. And well, are you going to explain them?
No, I'm just going to kick you out of my show.
Wow, finally something worked. Wow, that was close. And one of the first algorithms for creating realistic landscape scenes is the so-called Berg algorithm, or the midpoint displacement algorithm. We look at the algorithm here in 3D. Originally, it was meant for triangles. We demonstrate the idea of the algorithm here on a quadratic grid. We start moving the first center, points to the highest extent. Now we have 4 squares forming the shape of a pyramid, and we continue taking the midpoint of these squares and move it randomly either up or down. Though the smaller the square, the smaller becomes the shifting distance of the midpoint. This process is now repeated over and over. After just a few iterations, a natural looking mountain shape has been created. Here we look at the same process with changed parameters. And this algorithm is as well known as a diamond square algorithm, because it produces artifacts along the lines that reminds of diamonds. Nowadays, rendering software work like the hybrid fractals we use in the forums. When talking about landscape creation, this means that the process is interrupted at a certain iteration. Using another method, in this example, we flatten out all the squares, giving us the pyramidal stairs shape of a landscape, and continue then with the normal process as before. Ken Perlin received an Academy Award for Technical Achievement in 1997. He provided a generalized analytical approach for generating natural-looking textures. The main idea of the so-called Perlin Noise is we have a field of pseudo-random numbers as the initial situation for our texture. This field of numbers can be visualized as one-dimensional or two-dimensional. Here we visualize it both ways simultaneously. The function in the middle is a one-dimensional visualization, and the color in the background is a two-dimensional visualization. The connection between those can be seen in the colors. White stands for negative values and red for the positive values. Then these numbers are interpolated, which you can see once we get closer. The interpolation enables us to change the frequency of the number field, because without interpolation the random field always resembles white noise. It is worth to mention that interpolation is done in a smooth manner, not in a linear manner. Once we have this curve, we take several different frequencies of the same curve. For this example, we take these 4 curves, and every curve is a different octave of the Perlin Noise function. Watch how the mountain peaks correspond to the red circles on the x-axis and the valleys to the white circles on the x-axis. Now we add these 4 functions and show them as one function. The lower the frequency of the curve, the more it influences the shape of the final curve. This final curve resembles nature because of its scale invariancy. That means if we zoom into it, new features can be created. Nowadays we find this method in many uses. We have seen it being used for mountains before. It's being used for marble textures and clouds. There are many ways to play with this method. For example, when we assign different speeds to the different octaves, it almost looks like clouds passing by. And, I wish I could continue explaining this in detail, but I guess this still is the news show. I will try to make my own show explaining more details, and now I will bring us back to the news studio. Oh, I almost forgot. I should better take a step to the side.
Where did he go? He thinks he knows everything. Well, let me tell you. To create realistic looking scenes, many other techniques are incorporated into the calculation process. It is a volumetric global illumination solution we were looking at. Next is a program Fleen, which has been introduced to us by newly registered user Hextakis Lander. It provides an interesting fractal approach for pattern creation.
These patterns are all created by the program Fleen of user Hextakis Lander. It is a Java program still under development, and its source code is available on Google Code. The programmer provides background generators for Android systems. The idea behind the program is to use a so-called Kisgrambio tessellation on which geometric shapes are defined. A Kisgrambio tessellation is a plane of hexagons. Every hexagon is made of 6 triangles. This is being used as a relative coordinate system. Then one can define a set of shapes that are placed on the plane. These shapes are subdivided into other shapes, which again can be subdivided in an endless manner. The user can determine the process of subdivision, creating subdivision rules, which the programmer calls grammar.
Even though it sounds really complicated, it's easy to play with. Have fun creating your own grammar with a just released grammar editor. The last topic for today is an internal Fractalforums.com news. The world's economic crisis mirrors itself in the economic crisis of our administrator. There was a gap in the hosting cost, and the website would have gone offline for at least a few days. After a cry for help, people all over the world donated the hosting cost for the server enough for the whole year. We were surprised by the diversity of support coming from USA, Netherlands, India, Germany and Sweden. Thank you all. Not only for the money, but for the gesture as well. So, this rather long news episode comes to an end. It would have been shorter if I would not have been interrupted all the time. Dr. Wisenhimer and that other schmuck need to learn some respect for my show. What is happening right now? Hey. Don't be so negative. We all work on the same goal. Enlighten the world with fractals. So instead of talking bad about the others, be happy about their visits. Why don't you give us all a proper introduction and explain what we do? Okay, you're right. Let me explain. We are a team of 4 people. We each have our own show. We all cover different topics of the fractal world. I cover interesting developments in the fractal forums and the rest of the world.
The History Show tells the story of Fractalforums.com and the story of fractals in general. This show gives a broader view on fractals. It is held by the so-called Keeper of Chaos, who seems to be a hyperdimensional being.
So, why on earth is this forum so relevant for the fractal scene? It is because the now famous Mandelbulb has been found there.
The tutorial section is held by Dr. Wisenhimer. He explains the scientific background of the fractal universe. He's really good in visualizing complex processes, but he tends to waste his time on the senseless machine. The gallery is concerned about reviewing art and promoting the Fractalforums.com calendar. For some reason, this is connected to dancing and women.
Just recently, the 3 of them produced a show each. They cover the Mandelbox in all its aspects, historically, scientifically and artistically. Which brings us to the end of the show. Another interruption. A bit much for today, but the breaking news has just reached us. Do we have some news about the Holy Grail, the true 3D Mandelbrot? Let me check. No, it's about the revision demo party held over the Easter weekend in Germany, Saarbrücken. And one of the favorites for this year's 4K competition is called Kohlenstoffeinheit by the Akronyme Analogiker. They were inspired by Kali's Fragmentarium scripts, and we are pleased that the Fractalforums.com was mentioned in the info.text of. That seems to be finally it. You see me next time, and thank you for watching.